Good morning, USA, and welcome to another episode of the Bernie or Bust Show. We're trying to figure out what sets Bernie Sanders voters apart. They're a little bit grumpy, maybe, or a little bit desperate, a little bit in your face. These Bernie Sanders supporters, why are they so pugilistic? Elizabeth Warren has 2020 momentum, but these Bernie Sanders supporters say they'll never vote for her, even against Trump. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us Bernie Sanders supporters that we won't vote for Elizabeth Warren? Laura Bird says Bernie Sanders Revolutionaries is the group, and Laura Bird says Warren is the one to drop out. She has the establishment support. She is the establishment choice. I don't put much stock in the polls. No one has a landline these days. I will not vote for Warren. The halfway approach will not do. I don't think she'll beat Trump. It will be 2016 all over again. So many similarities already. Endless free publicity for Warren and nothing but smear pieces on Bernie. The DNC crowned Warren and have a finger on the scales for her. She is doing a fundraiser with Nancy Pelosi for the DNC. Do you think they would be drooling over Warren if she was a true progressive? Laura, you are 100% correct, says Rachel Hutchison. Warren has no chance against Trump. Her supporters are all white and college educated. 71%, in fact. Her numbers reflect current members of the DNC who will already be voting blue in 2020. She will never peel off Trump voters. To win an election, you have to do what Bernie has done, build a working class coalition of all races and backgrounds. So Tim Black has something to say, something powerful to say about this coalition, about the kinds of people who will vote for Bernie Sanders. And he does a great job in summing up who is in pain and why they're in pain. He talks about college professors. He talks about Fortune 500 employees with master's degrees. And he talks about comfortable people with summer homes. But what we really need to understand is to get people to vote, to get people to come out to vote, we need someone like Senator Bernie Sanders to vote for. And unless that happens, if Elizabeth Warren gets anointed again after Joe Biden falls flat on his face, then the kinds of voters that Tim is about to describe aren't going to come out. They're just not going to be there.
Bernie Sanders, his supporters are a certain type of breed. Remember when I just talked about the types of voters, the demographics of the voters of Joe Biden and the demographic of voters who support Elizabeth Warren, for example? I'm not saying we don't have any highly educated, master's degree having folks who work for Fortune, 100 companies or professors. I'm not saying that. I mean, of course, Bernie Sanders' campaign, his issues, his politics attract a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. But this is what we have to realize. There are certain type of people who are impacted a certain type of way by the freaking system that we have. The system that we have smashes people on the bottom.
Right.
Now, there's always going to be an underclass in this country. That's the way this country's set up. That's the way it's always run. They came in, they obliterated the Native Americans. They took my ancestors and made us less than animals. They built this country on the backs of it and still use those same people as fuel for their prison industrial complex. Still holding up the...
They use them as fuel for military, too. It's poor people who go to the military. It's lower class, it's minorities, disproportionately.
Being on the bottom, being stepped on. Then we got our poor white folks. Then we have our immigrants who come here from poor countries. All of these people are the people, when Bernie's talking about changing the system, who do you think are the people that get more excited about it? The people that are doing well? The people in the high income brackets? The people that are already behind their gated communities? Or the people that are actually the ones whose houses went bust? The people who lost a loved one because they just didn't have the money just to have the money to stay alive. Like that man we heard talking about his wife, who didn't want them to go bankrupt, so she never told him about her illness or how bad it was, till it was too late. Those are the type of people that Bernie Sanders is talking to. And though we listen to these people complain about Bernie Sanders people are so aggressive, Bernie Sanders people are like in a cult, Bernie Sanders people are, here's the difference. We're the people that recognize how badly we need to change the system. And those people don't feel that way because they're not in the same position. If they were in the same position, or if they weren't given bad information, they'd be right along with us.
That's a good point. Now, you have to look at people, if they have been given good information and they are aware of the pain that the people on the bottom of our system get smashed, and they're okay with that, then they have don't give a shit-itis, and there's not much we can say to them. We just have to leave them there and hopefully outnumber them, outmaneuver them. They're in the way. It isn't just the oligarchs, it's the cronies of the oligarchs, it's the puppets, it's the mouthpieces, and it's just people that want things to stay the same, and they're just as racist and as bigoted as anyone they make fun of on the right. But if we look at it the way Tim is, we can get the information out to the others. We can get people who do give a shit, who could say, look, I'm with you. I'm not suffering as you are. I'm not, my privilege keeps me from being profiled by the police. My privilege makes it easier for me to get a job after I get an education. It makes it easier to get the education. Even though I have advantages that you don't have, I want our system to stop crushing people in our country and other people that we're bombing in other countries and exploiting economically in other countries. I want to live in a country where everyone can win, and at least where everyone can have an opportunity to win, and we don't have that now. I would like to be part of that. And so if you give me the good information, I'll know not to vote for Elizabeth Warren, who is just a stealthy substitute, really, for Hillary Clinton. She's just, if Hillary Clinton thought she could win, she would be running now. But I think they've consulted with their think tanks, and I think they realized that Elizabeth Warren has enough support with Bernie supporters that they might be able to sneak her past us. But make no mistake, she's not going to fix things. The people on the bottom will continue to be crushed under an Elizabeth Warren presidency. But again, that's not going to happen because the people who typically won't vote unless it's somebody like Bernie, somebody, or who they thought Trump was going to be like, who's going to give us our jobs back. Unless it's somebody they think is going to change the way the system works, they're not going to vote for her. So she can't win. She just can't win. But the people that are the richest, the people at the very top, they don't care if it's Bernie or they care if it's Bernie. They can't have Bernie, but they don't care if it's Trump or Elizabeth or Joe Biden. They're all on the same team. They're all working for the oligarchs. Trump is clueless compared to Hillary. Trump is clueless compared to Elizabeth. But they'd still rather have Trump than Bernie because he's still pretty much manipulable. They can get him to do what they want him to do for the most part.
See, the person, like, you know that old saying, you throw a rock, the hit dog hollers? Well, a lot of us are hit, so we're hollering.
Yeah.
And they're sitting around there doing so bad going, why are you hollering? See, they don't understand why we're hollering, and that's why they never understood why Trump won, because they don't get it. They have no true understanding to how much pain there really is. They don't know what it's like when kids are addicted to opiates. They don't know what it's like when kids are locked up for weed for over a decade, 2 decades for selling or for nonviolent offenses or even violent offenses. They don't know what it's like to grow up in poverty. They don't know what it's like to your job move. Just gone away, laid off. That's not really the people that Elizabeth Warren is attracting. That's the people that Bernie Sanders is attracting. So, yeah, forgive us If we seem to be a little bit more high-strung than you, my calm pedestrian friend, my just breezing through life, maybe you're kicking a couple of bucks. Give me something to feel good about as I skip my way to my summer home. Yeah, we keeping it real, aren't we? You know what I'm talking about. I mean, guys, just know this. While we're out here struggling, barely putting $2 together, barely making the bills, having to go to the pawn shop, having to rely on friends, they're not. Everyone isn't broke, just because we are. And they don't understand why we keep yelling and why we keep on getting so upset. Why does it have to be Bernie? See, to them, a president's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
To them, there doesn't need to be a revolution. That's crazy talk. All we need to do is put a woman in there so we feel good. All we need to do is put a minority, a person of color in there, and we'll feel better. All we need to do is put a person, a person of the LGBTQ family in there, and everything will be better and it'll be cool. But they don't understand that the details matter, yo. They don't understand that it matters what the person stands for and if they're going to change this system. So pick yourselves up, stick your chests out, hold your chin up, because I know why you in it. You know why I'm in it. I know why we're in it, and we're in it for the right reasons. They're not playing in the same lane as us. They're not living under the same strains as us. They don't have the same pains as us. They come up with names for us, but they ain't the same as us.
Bernie Sanders is spoiling for a fight with the DNC. This is why we're on the same team. This is why we're fighting. If we can get Bernie in as the nominee, then we'll get the people who are in pain to come out and vote. But if we don't, we won't. And so we have to get the message out to the people who aren't feeling the pain and who don't give a shit. We have to show them that if we can get this system changed, that they won't have to deal with Donald Trump. If they don't like Donald Trump, they have to have Bernie. And that message has to get out. And it's not getting out right now. So please, please share this video, share the articles that I link, share Tim Black's video, watch the whole thing, watch everything on these lefty pundits that I keep sharing. Support everybody who's trying to get the news out past the blockade. Look at this article, check out a few of the points made, because Bernie Sanders is trying to throw down the gauntlet on corporate sponsorship, especially of the convention. He released a multi-point plan to get corporate money out of politics, and as the first stipulation, Bernie will ban corporate contributions to the Democratic Party convention and all related committees. And that would be a great start. The DNC, for its part, is adamant that it will not return the money it's already raised from lobbyists and corporate PACs, nor break its promises of exclusive access and credentials in exchange for cash. It's just sick stuff. If Sanders were the front runner, the result would be a tug of war between the nominee and the establishment apparatus over the role of corporate interests at the convention. With this proposal, Sanders shows that he's spoiling for that fight. Earlier in the article, they say that the funding comes from 17 donors. That was in 2016. 17 donors ponied up 3/4 of the DNC funding, with many corporate sponsors, including Facebook, Bank of America, and Comcast, donating over $1 million apiece. More than a few of those donors also shelled out for the Republican National Convention, sending a clear message. Whoever wins, we expect our interests to be represented going forward. Otherwise, you can kiss our money goodbye. This is what we need to keep in front of the voters who watch the corporate news. We have to let them know what's going on. We have to let them know. I'm not any more varied than Bernie. I keep repeating the same message. For Bernie to win, we have to get around the media blockade. And for that to happen, we have to promote the people on the left who aren't funded the way the DNC is funded. And for that, we need your help. We need all of us to stand up and help. So let's get the word out. Let's keep on burning. And hope to see you tomorrow.